All right, what's up guys? Jeff here. In this video, we're going to talk about AI ingestion for second brains using Obsidian and OpenAI's Whisper to transcribe YouTube videos and then to pull those concepts and entities out of your digital communication, your YouTube transcripts, and to train your own second brain to take your brain and put it into a digital AI so that it can sound like you. It can generate voice in your voice. It can generate scripts that sound like you, emails, newsletters, content. And this is an advanced implementation. We're going to use a few tools like VS Code and Claude Code to help us with some of the transcribing, using Whisper. We're going to use Obsidian and some Obsidian plugins using Andrej Karpathy's LLM Wiki package. And all of these things are at the cutting edge of most of the thought leadership in AI right now. It's very useful for researchers, business, thought leaders, content creators, anyone who is synthesizing knowledge, doing a lot of research, mind work, stuff that is more nuanced. And just I would just draw the distinction between like picking up a shovel and like shoveling with labor versus, picking up some templates and trying to produce, a new piece of knowledge, a new research paper, a piece of content that goes viral, a podcast that does well, a new idea, anything in thought leadership. So we're really here to help thought leaders, researchers, business owners, content creators, public speakers to synthesize their ideas and to outsource memory so that you become more of a processor. You process reality and you work on the next idea and you kind of offload some of the foundational ideas into the digital space. You can query it, find the cross connections, find the syntheses a lot easier. Really useful for knowledge work, mind work, consulting, coaching, info products, research, even in business, company knowledge bases, collaboration, training, onboarding, handing off SOPs, delegation, and working towards one project. So this is the foundation of AI. I make a lot of videos about second brains and knowledge bases. Somebody might ask, what's the point of having something like this? The point is that you can query it and it'll give you AI generated responses very quickly across the knowledge base. So for example, I have an example pulled up here where I asked it about ingestion. See, here's me ingestion, and it just pulls across the entire wiki and talks about what ingestion is. See, ingestion, AI ingestion, that's the topic of our video. The ingestion layer is the foundational component of a knowledge management system that automatically collects, consolidates, and compresses information from multiple sources. The idea here was that I wanted to be able to take in Notion journals, YouTube transcripts, Apple notes, audio, voice recording notes, voice notes, PDFs, other creators' YouTube videos, people's books, and combine it all into a really rich data source of like cross-index, cross-synthesized information that you could use to power any modular AI agent that you attach to it, to power any coding agent, to power pretty much anything that you want to do in your own voice with your own intent. Why would you want to build a second brain? Well, it's a little bit more of an advanced version than like a project, like a Claude project or a custom GPT. It's trained on almost everything and has almost unlimited memory capacity, unlimited amounts of files. And that's not the main benefit. We don't want to just throw everything in, but we're applying the 80-20 rule to our ingestion. And the AI, the LLM, is trained to look at key principles, key facts, key valuable insights to pull into the knowledge base to train and cross-link so that you're getting only really rich information, rich topic trees that will train the AI on your preferences, your themes, your categories, and what you like to talk about and what you're interested in. So what is this really used for? This is used for generating extremely well-written emails that sound like you, extremely well-written scripts like Instagram Shorts or TikTok Short scripts, YouTube long-form scripts, video posts, and any kind of generative output like Instagram carousels, image generation. For example, this thumbnail was generated from an AI prompt based on some of the ideas and ideation from the knowledge base. All right, so let me just rant a little bit about file trees and file structure, which is everything over here. It's kind of important. Some of my earlier projects, I would just have like 100 different folders, not really good organization. And with this second iteration, I'm getting my folders better organized so I know what's in them. And that's going to be important for the different use cases, because what happens is you have a file and then you add it with another file. And then you index or you point to another file, and then the AI knows, like the AI can literally look at that file, then look at the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And you can chain together all these instructions to do extremely complex instruction sets and very more advanced builds. But for this very simple knowledge base, I just wanted to train it on my YouTube video transcripts so that the knowledge base is comprised of stuff that I've publicly spoken about online. My digital self, my digital communication is logged in a second brain, and the topics are logged and everything's referenced, etc. And I'm very impressed with this package. I want to shout out the creator and this implementation. It's pretty good. This is by Green Dali, and he has the let's see, this is the website, the official website for it. It's Andrej Karpathy's LLM Wiki concept, your notes in a living wiki. What I like about it is how easy it is for the AI to read through. So let's just like look at one of these files. It has its sources, so the AI knows the file paths. It has, definitions, related, like literally links to related things. So when the AI comes through here, the AI can actually navigate to these other pages and knows its source and has, complete kind of ability to go through. So anyways, this is self-reinforcing over time. With more and more knowledge, these core concepts get updated with more and more context and more cross links. And so, with this package, you ultimately want to look at ultimately where we're going is skill building, which is stacking instruction sets, which is basically taking a set of instructions, and then within that set of instructions, there's another set of instructions. Within that, there's another set of instructions. And then you have these file trees and instructions, and these are called skills. And skills can reference different tools and things like that. Then you get into MCP servers and API calls and plugging it all together. But right now, we're just going to look at basics, which is just basic file structure. So I just wanted to show you some basic folders that I like. So obviously sources, this is where everything that you want the wiki to ingest goes here. And these are just, basic YouTube video transcripts. Like there was nothing. So here's Obsidian. Just go to this link, and if you have Windows or whatever platform you have, you can download for Windows or Apple. Okay. And then when you're done, here's the link for the LLM Wiki. The link's going to be in the description, and you can just click here to get the plugin, and it'll take you to the actual Obsidian tool, and you can just click this button to add it, or you can just go into your actual Obsidian and hit settings, and then go into community plugins, then browse, and then just type in Karpathy, and the Karpathy LLM Wiki will be here, and you just click on it, then hit it, hit install, and then hit enable, and it will work just fine. And then you go into settings and just set up the model. So if you're on OpenAI, put your OpenAI key. If you're on Anthropic, it was easier to do the compatible ones where I had to point it to the base URL. So I would just go into like ChatGPT and just ask for the base URL for these and then put them in and then save settings, and it should all work. The way you set up your root folder is you just click this button here for a new folder, and then you just name it. I like to add numbers so that the folders that I want on top, I kind of have a primary folder and then subfolders. And I named mine sources. This is where we're going to dump all of our transcripts and just basically point the wiki to basically ingest these kinds of folders. These are just literally markdown transcripts from YouTube videos that I've done. So it's just a raw transcript that goes in. And then I also have an ops folder, which is just logs. And so it's just logs of, the progress that we've made, what still needs to be done, and just some various notes. And this gets updated. Basically, it just gets updated whenever you point to it with Claude Code or any other codex file. And that's all based in the CLAUDE.md folder. So the next thing you would want to do is add a new file. You would click New Note and just name it Claude. Or you could use your Claude code in a VS Code and just say, create me a Claude.md that basically says that my sources folder is the main root file, and then also create an ops folder. And then you could also say, make sure that every time you're supposed to read the ops logs. And then you always just point back into, whenever you're done with your chats, you say summarize this chat, and then you point it back to ops and you say write the summary into my logs. And then in the Claude.md, it'll have everything about your log. All right, so let's look at the Claude folder for this. I started off by just giving any AI that reads this folder is going to look at the Claude.md first, and I just give it the folder structure, kind of like a table of contents of everything that's in this project. And then I kind of give it instructions for all the folders, like what's in them. So sources, what it is, it's the ingestion inbox. So all the raw material gets processed in there. And I have ops logs. And then I told it that I one of the things that happens with logs, when you ask AI to summarize things, it just makes it very technical. So I want everything in 4th grade languages, very simple, no jargon. And so that made my logs, come across really well. Like, here's some wins, here's the progress, here's what you need to do, here's the notes. That was like my first log that came out of it. Real well organized. And then the next one is videos, which is just temporary media. Like, I just put this videos here so I could see, which videos I was actually going to process. And then we have the wiki, of course. And the wiki, it just shows it how we're structuring the knowledge, what goes in each of the buckets. So concepts are like frameworks, ideas, and theories. Entities are like people, tools, and systems. Sources are like the summarized process versions of the raw sources. And then schema is just like the configuration and notes template. So if we look at, the wiki schema, a configuration, this file governs how the large language model builds and maintains your wiki. You can edit it freely. So you have the wiki structure, you have entity pages, are persons, organizations, projects, products, events, locations, or other, and concept pages. So theory, method, technology terms, and then your sources. And theoretically, you can add skills to this. But anyways, the entity page template. Pages in the entities must follow the structure. Then you have your concept pages. Then you have naming conventions, content rules, classification rules, multi-source, merge rules, maintenance policies. So anyways, this, you should learn like what this is doing. This is given to you, but you go through the prompt and learn what it's doing, and then you can edit it, and it will, obviously follow those rules. So that's the configuration, and that's important, obviously, for the wiki as well. I think this is a nice little addition, and this is all original by me, was that it gives it a running picture of your day-to-day project by project status without needing to be told. So if you have multiple projects in the vault, each one might have its own log. It can check that as well. So it's bringing it up to speed and giving it context for what you're working on. so that you don't have to prompt in Claude Code every single time, where you're at in your project. And so I just thought that was a nice principle there. So if you wanted to transcribe a YouTube video, all you would do is find the file path of your video, and you would just right click, copy as path, and then you would bring it in and just paste the path in there. And then you would say, use Whisper to transcribe, and then save to, and then copy the file path of your sources, copy path, and then you would just run that command. I'm not going to do it because I don't really want that I don't necessarily want that MP4, but that's the general idea. And what it'll do is it'll pull a transcript, and it'll pull something that looks like this. Once you have something like that, you'll go back into Obsidian. You'll hit Control P and ingest from single source, and then you'll just select the source. Okay, so it'll be like in 00 sources, and it'll look something like this. And you click that, and then it'll begin, and then a little pop-up up here will appear. Let's say you have something in a different folder, like a different path. It doesn't always have to just be in sources. Like for example, I have newsletters in this writing path. I can do Control P as well and ingest from a folder, and then I can literally just click writing newsletters, and it'll pull in all the newsletters and begin to break it down using the LLM. And right now I believe that is what it's working on. From my Beehive, I had a bunch of Beehive newsletters. What I'm going to do is transfer them over to the correct file. So I can either do it through here, or I think I can drag and drop, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it in sources. Actually, I have writing, and then I have newsletters. Yeah, and I never published them in here. So now we have all my newsletters here. And if I open it up in Obsidian, in writing, I should see all my newsletters. Now, if I hit my control and ingest from a folder, I should be able to select writing/newsletters. And now it's going to analyze a batch and pull in all those concepts. And those are things that I wrote organically. So that's going to be my real concepts, my real voice, my real digital voice, things that I've published. Wait till we can do this on every tweet and every thread you've ever published as well. And check it out. You can actually download all of the tweets that you've ever written and get them into a markdown file as well. So I started that process. You basically have to go in and download an archive of all your data, and then it has a data tweets.js file with every tweet you've ever posted in a JSON format. Then you just download this package here on GitHub, and it'll basically take all those and parse it for you and give you all your tweets. It's pretty cool. If you want to query the knowledge base, you can obviously use Claude Code and point to it, but also you can just use the query wiki, and it pulls up its own interface, and then you can type anything in natural language, and it'll pull it in. So, what are my favorite topics to talk about? You can obviously also query just with any Claude Code that's pointed into, the right instance. So I would just, take the wiki path, and it can just look. I would say, what are some of my favorite topics to talk about? What's a simple niche or topic tree? What's my simple niche or topic tree? And what would you say is my niche? And then you can just look and see the outputs because it has extremely rich semantic context. So check this out. It's looking through concepts, looking through entities, looking through concepts. It's scanning through all of them. It's just reading the files. And it's coming up with something. And all this amazing rich context could power, any agent that you build. AI business architecture, building and selling AI systems that run businesses. Yeah, I mean, that's facts. So it has knowledge systems, AI skills and AI agents, business automation, one-man AI business model, and philosophical foundations. So your core identity all over across all the content. You teach people how to build AI infrastructure that replaces entire operational roles, not just tools, but systems that think, remember, and act. So then you could do things like create a article that sounds like me in my voice/tone. And then it can literally go in and read like your source transcripts itself. It literally just read the exact source transcripts, and then it gets a good feel. Conversational, casual, direct and confident, etc. Why your AI sounds like everyone else's and how to fix it. And it just writes the script for you in your voice with your ideas, the ingestion, structure, retrieval, and yeah, just on point. Or how about write a newsletter that sounds like me. All right, so back to Obsidian. Let's check out the ingestion report and look at all these entities and concepts it was able to grab from my newsletters. My newsletters are rich with detail and my own language, and it updates a lot of files just based on my own writing, my own language, my own words. One final thing, Control P here opens up your commands, and you can lint, meaning it can deduplicate and fix. And we had here it created a login and index, which is interesting. So I'll leave you guys with that, and we'll see you in the next one. So here on the website, here's the example for content creation. And how it kind of works. So you have your sources, which is a podcast episode plan. It's an MD file. And then you have your guest and your topic. And then it has some background on your guest and some core questions, right? So you can see kind of what matters. This is how it finds the entities and concepts. So the entity would be your guest, and then the concepts would be, the topic. And then the entity would be R&D at Khan Academy, and then the concepts would be what he does now. And so it kind of breaks it down like this, and it pulls out useful useful things, and then it creates the pages inside of concepts and entities. So it has your guest and the related topics, and everything's linked together. So if you're running a lot of podcasts, then you can see the graph view of how it all links together. And then if you need anything, you just ask, what is the difference between blah, 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 blah. And it gives you that. So you have all your knowledge stored, ready to go. This is really good for company knowledge bases as well. You could basically hand this off or sync this to your helpers, your employees or whatever, their devices, and then they can get access to the same growing knowledge base. And you could even have shared folders where, like for your company, your knowledge base continues to do this. Everybody drops in their logs, everybody drops in sources, and it gets all connected together. Well, we've come to the end of our kind of video here, and we've shown how to ingest your own kind of knowledge I like to, in order to get outputs like things that sound like me, you would want to build, or things that sound like you, right? To get outputs that sound like you would want to build a second brain that your AI can just plug into. And these are things like, newsletters. Every single Beehive newsletter I've ever written, every tweet you have ever written, every Notion journal you've ever written, your own writing samples, video transcripts of every video you've ever done. And obviously you can see that the AI is doing a great job of ingesting it. And, the token spend, a little bit expensive, but completely worth it, because this is going to power all of my AI sales agents, content agents, proposal writing agents, communication agents, everything that I'm going to do in the next 10, 15, 20 years. This is all local hosted. It's all safe on a hard drive. And, it's just a living brain of everything I've ever put out on the internet, indexed really well, categorized really well, sequenced really well into entities and concepts. And it's really just a beautiful thing, really a beautiful thing. It's the foundation of all the AI that you're going to do. You can do it in different domains, different industries. You can do it for coding. You can do it for, more traditional sales or marketing. You can do it in any different domain, any kind of knowledge. It's really stems from info products, my obsession with info products, coaching, consulting, doing things like mind work, which comes from this book, Opportunity by Eben Pagan, who has this thing called MetaMind. He does coaching in the AI space now with his podcast. And I was about to get on that podcast and I missed the interview. But anyways, podcasting is huge. So I hope you guys implement this, and I would love to have you in for a podcast interview. If you're a creator, if you are a public speaker, if you do podcasts, I would love to do an interview and help generate more content. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching. If you want a more detailed, in-depth service, we have a full service AI kind of agency where we have talented AI engineers on our team that we can plug in and actually do this for you. If you don't have the time to do this yourself, if you're a busy business owner, busy creator, content creator, public speaking, you're too busy on your podcast to implement this, we have a team of great guys who can implement this for you into your own business to start putting together your own knowledge base. So if you guys are interested in that, send us a DM, send us a comment, click the link, go to the website, check out our website, check out our services, and we'll see you in the next one.